that, and I want to get this out because it's not something we're going to go into. All the people who have finally figured out what the show is parodying. Like 3 seasons, you couldn't figure it out. It took the trial. Which was just like side by side what happened to Trump. It took you that, like, oh my God. And Josh at the shop said, DJ laughed. He goes, he's like, yeah, Homelander or Trump does something stupid or says something stupid, and then people applaud. And he goes, and DJ goes, I've never heard Trump described so eloquently in my life. He goes, oh, it's killing me. I can't stand seeing it anymore, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
But.
And we can touch on that a little bit with the
Acolyte.
No, I'm just kidding. No, that's a whole other thing. You know, however much you want to get into with that as well. Now, luckily, I don't see a lot of that, like whatever the real sexist, homophobic stuff.
Vitriol.
Huh?
Vitriol.
I don't see that on my timeline so much.
Mm-hmm.
Just today, I guess it was pointed out that people were upset that there was a fat Jedi.
Oh no!
I don't know if you saw that coming up.
No, that didn't. It makes its way into me on my Facebook a lot more.
Okay, I'm barely on Facebook, so
I go on and it just shows me boys and Acolyte stuff all the time now.
Yeah, but there was like a side-by-side comparison of people complaining about there being a fat Jedi in like the one group shot or whatever it was, and they were doing the side-by-sides with Porkins, and then they were litigating, well, Porkins is a pilot, so he's mostly sedentary, so if he's fat, it's okay, and then it's like, well, he wouldn't have the same reflexes as another X-Wing pilot.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, that's why Porkins died.
So that showed up on my timeline today.
Mm-hmm.
And to paraphrase another movie along the same oeuvre as your Star Wars is the fat Jedi. What's he gonna do? He's Samoan. So
okay.
Right.
I don't know what that means, but
from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, okay.
Where they're talking about one of the people that's in Marcellus Wallace's group. And Samuel L. Jackson says, what's a person to do? He's Samoan.
Okay.
Talking about him being fat, you know, as though that hand waves it. Notice I'm saying a different word than what he said. I'm saying person.
Okay. I'll say this.
Have you not seen Pulp Fiction? Are you aware of this?
I've seen Pulp Fiction. That's not one of the lines that sticks out to me.
Oh, okay.
Like there are a lot of there's a whole soliloquy about coffee that I remember very well.
Yes.
My favorite line maybe in like movie history might be, "How about you, Lash LaRue? You think you can keep your spurs from jingling and jangling?" Oh, such a great line.
And then this is John Travolta's body language from that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The sign outside Quentin Tarantino's house.
Right.
You know, there's. I feel as though Pulp Fiction, and listen, this may make me basic, as the kids say, that I have no riz, is another thing that the kids say.
Right.
But I think from beginning to end, Pulp Fiction is like 80% quotable.
Yes, it is depending on what your skin tone is, it might be a little more.
Right.
But yes, 80 is a good percentage, and it was a different, like I hadn't seen anything like it when I saw that movie.
Now I would say, did you see? We might have had this conversation before, but who cares?
Right.
There's the 500th anniversary episode of After Dark.
Mm-hmm.
We might hit some, some of the classics, right?
Yep.
If you've been with us for 500 episodes, I don't remember what we did 2 episodes ago. On the main show, There's something in the news that I had to go and research when the last time that we talked about it was, so that I can actually have it written down, instead of being like, no, we talked about this some time ago. I don't know when it was, right?
Right.
I actually, when I did like research, I'm like, okay, Control F, whatever. Okay. Did you see Reservoir Dogs before or after Pulp Fiction?
After.
Okay. Now, I was one of the lucky few to see Reservoir Dogs before Pulp Fiction. I think I saw it like the summer of Pulp Fiction coming out because I was a bit of a movie nerd at the time, and I hung with movie nerds. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this. This was months and months ago. This was pre my Twitter getting popped, right?
Right.
There was a whole discourse online in regards to digital and physical media. And there was a group of people that were extolling the virtues and saying it's okay to torrent movies. And then there was a person that came out against torrenting movies. And they kind of got like screenshotted and sent around and made fun of in like the wrestling circles and the comic book movie circles and the horror movie circles. And this person is in like the snooty film circle.
Right.
And it was one of my best friends in high school.
Oh, I remember you saying something about
Okay. So it was through him that like I saw Akira like way, way early. I saw Reservoir Dogs because he was kind of like a film snob at 17 years old. And he's a film snob today at like 46 years old or whatever it is, right?
Right.
But I think, obviously your perception of Pulp Fiction, obviously, whatever. But I think Reservoir Dogs is equally as quotable as Pulp Fiction, even though there's a lot less dialogue. The dialogue that is delivered hits and hums and sings. And there's lots of moments of downtime. There's lots of moments of standoffs and things like that. Whereas Pulp Fiction, it's just nonstop rapid fire. And sure, there's a couple clunkers, but it's like monologue after monologue after monologue of just memorable lines delivered by like some of the greatest actors of all time.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta watch Pulp Fiction again. I can't wait till I get to show my kid Pulp Fiction.
Right. Now, see, I think I'm a little different than you, where you say you're basic. Yeah. I would say I'm more bougie of the two of us.
Oh, okay.
As the kids say. But yeah, I'm with you on Pulp Fiction. Reservoir Dogs I saw later. I was around movie snobs, and I was around movie just lovers. When I say lovers, people who no movie was bad, if that makes any sense. So I was like kind of in the middle. But I saw Pulp Fiction first, and I saw it at the Dollar Theater in Einan, which will tell you like that always smelled like burnt popcorn. And I went, and I was just like, and it was like on its whatever run, because it wasn't in the big theaters anymore. And one of my friends just was like, you have to go see this movie. And I went and I saw it. And in my mind, like, I had never seen anything like that, like dialogue-wise. And then the Told Out of Order, which was probably not unique at that point. There had probably been other movies. But like everything about it was new and fresh to me. And then I saw Reservoir Dogs. And I love Reservoir Dogs. But I can't watch Reservoir Dogs because it has a moment in it that I chalk up to like watching The Audition. And I'm trying to remember what one of the other movies was. That there was like one and another one that like scarred me for life. And watching, what's his name, Roth, bleed out in the movie.
In the back of the car?
Not only that, just in the room and everything. He's like, take me to the hospital. And he's just getting it. The blood looks real-ish. And him getting like visibly like when somebody's bleeding out in a movie, it's always like, oh, I'm bleeding out, but they have like rosy cheeks and great.
They're like, oh,
yeah, help me, I'm dying.
No, I think I'll be okay. I just need to.
Yep, and then it's like, Joe, give him the podcasting Oscar for that death scene you just did. But that'll happen. And Roth looked like, take that motherfucker to the hospital.
Like he looked like he was in shock.
Yes.
Yeah, he was shaking and like the whole it was good stuff.
It looked like Tarantino videotaped to death. That's just like what I saw. And I'm like, okay, that bothers me. But otherwise it was such a great movie. And I stand by this. I am a Forrest Gump guy, which is another movie that kind of gets a little flack nowadays. But we've been over this a million times. I love Forrest Gump, but man, oh man, Pulp Fiction should have won that year. Like that was like, that's the movie. Like, I've seen some awards where it's like, I never trust Oscars ever again, you know?
One of my favorites from that time frame was, and we'll get back to you and your feelings on Reservoir Dogs, where like you'd watch the Oscars and they have they're like, oh, and the winner, like they do the nominees for like whatever the acting award is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I will say this, obviously Forrest Gump won that year, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of the acting awards went to Ed Wood.
Yep.
Specifically,
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson, Martin Landau, Best Supporting Actor, for their appearance in their respective movies, and they have the picture there, and we go to whatever it is, and they announce that it's going to be Martin Landau as the winner, and you just see as they pull out Samuel L. Jackson going like, "Motherfucker!"
Yep. That's a famous scene, man.
Oh my goodness, such a great moment. But I wanted to make sure that I got the movie right, because obviously you mentioned about Tim Roth, bleeding out and everything else like that. The moment that you have from Audition, and then you have some other movie. If only you, and I have to preface this, if only you were allegedly on as much cocaine as Charlie Sheen was allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
When at a party, he was watching one of the Hong Kong Category 3 movies, specifically called Guinea Pig.
Right.
That he thought he was watching, like, a legitimate murder being televised. And
right, he was watching the news.
Huh?
He was watching the news, according to him.
Right. So, it forced the makers of the movie to release a making of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
In America, obviously it was an import movie. 1991 Hong Kong movies weren't a huge thing, but they were still making their way to American folk. So I can only imagine you calling the cops on the Tim Roth scene because you were as geeked as Charlie Sheen allegedly could have been that day.
Yeah, I mean, I'm off the coke now, Joe.
Now.
I'm a Pepsi man.
But
yeah, I just a rough scene. I'm trying to think of what that other movie, because there's like two that I've talked about, and then I add Reservoir Dogs. But
well, it's definitely not Pieces. I know that much.
And it will never be Pieces. There is not a high enough tier on Patreon to ever make me watch that movie.
I'm gonna say this though, and this is gonna be one of the most inside things ever, but not really. I'll preface it by saying it involves Cardiff.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone out there knows, Todd intimated on the Patreon show that there's a comic book movie, okay?
Right.
That you refuse to mention to put on the list.
Right.
And you won't give any clues to what it is.
Right.
Okay. If you know what that movie, if you, the listener of this show, if you know what that movie is, and you tell me, I will give you 1,000 Chuck E. Cheese tickets. And if I somehow accidentally reveal and dox you as the one who told me what that movie is, I'll give you another 1,000 Chuck E. Cheese tickets. All
right. I have to say, the only thing that I can think of that would have made that make more sense to me,
yes,
is if you stuttered while you said it.
Well, he doesn't stutter anymore because the stuttering is fake, but that's neither here nor there.
What?
Yeah. It's a
Wait a minute.
It's a shame we all had to find out this way.
Oh, I feel like my whole life has been a lie, Joe.
He's driving across country to drive to the houses of the people, or to drive to the houses to the people that make fun of him online, only when he knows that they're not home, going to the wrong house, or if they are home and are sitting there waiting for them, he won't go to their house.
Gotcha.
He'll drive by the neighborhood, but keep going. And it's also under the guise of him allegedly attempting to murder his two cats. But that's another story for another day.
Careful, you're going to put us on a list, Joe.
Yeah,
I'll say this: the only reason I know this is because for a hot bit there, my not Joe Sposto or whatever your name is now.
Right.
Twitter handle was going off like crazy for notifications. I'm like, what the fuck is this about? And I'm going in, there's like Cardiff stuff, and there's a certain guy who used to interview for a radio show who used to, say things. And I'm like, all right, now I understand way too much, because I would look at the tweet. Like I'm just like, pass him by, Joe. And I didn't. And now I know things that I don't want to know.
Right. I always say, whenever the Dabbleverse trickles into the real world, it fucks me up.
Right.
I like it being in this little corner of the world where like only like the 5,000 to 6,000 people are aware of it. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of just like on the bubble of that, Right. Like I don't have a cute name like, like Obnoxious John or Kinky Loco or any of these other people. I'm just like close enough that like my toe is in and I can go to the events. I did wear my Cardiff shirt to the wrestling this past Friday, and one of the staff for the LVAC came up to me and introduced himself as a fellow dabbler.
Oh, I thought he was going to say he reported you.
No. Oh, my goodness, no.
He saw the shirt. He's like, I must report this immediately.
But it's one of those things where, like, if I go to a dabbler event, I'm going to wear wrestling stuff. If I go to my wrestling stuff, I'm going to wear a dabbler thing,
Right. If you are a dabbler, don't despair.
That's not too far off.
I'm gonna re-record that joke as dabbler for dabbler lovers, the North American Dabbler Lover Association.
Oh boy, that would be well. See, now that you're gonna get me to say another, and again, allegedly, I'm not even gonna say it. But how was your week? By the way,
I was gonna say good. I have one question to ask you, because I know you'll save it all for your wrestling show about your
week. So the wrestling show is gonna be different. But go ahead.
All I want to know is, did you eat any good food? Like, did you have food? Did you have any vegan food at the show? Or did you go out for a meal with the boys afterwards?
I did not partake in any of the vegan food that was there.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, the vegan fare that was there this time wasn't like anything that really jumped out at me. It was like the same old. Like, you got the knockoff barbecue rib thing. You got the mac and cheese. And they didn't have the donuts. They had the cookies. And the cookie flavor combinations were not normal cookie flavors that I would like. Mm-hmm. So, like, I know I always like to support and everything else like that. But, I bought a shirt and that sort of thing.
Right.
That's my way of giving back. But we did go out to Denny's afterwards. Myself, Brett, and DJ. That's the $100 tier show. That's not even going in the Patreon.
Right. Thing Burger.
What? No Thing Burger. But myself and Brett order breakfast. Okay. Mm-hmm. And listen, it's 11 o'clock at night on a Friday. It's Denny's. We know we're not going to get the fastest service. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like a manager man. Okay. Who was assisting, like, getting the orders out to the other tables. Okay.
Right.
So he goes and he gives me, you go to Denny's. Because I was hungry. It was late. I got the lumberjack slam.
Oh.
And I got an order of the potato, or the I don't know what flavor they were, but they're like pancake balls. They're like cinnamon sugar pancake balls.
Right, a Cinnabon ripoff. Okay.
Okay, I got an order of those for the table. Brett got some sort of dessert, and they're I forget what the goofy name for it is, like your moon's over my hammy and that sort of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Their chicken fried chicken is called like the plate licking country fried chicken or some shit, right?
So the window licking fried chicken.
So the guy gives me my food, gives Brett his food, and he goes to give DJ his food, and then just drops everything off the plate on the table.
All right.
And it was just one of those things where, like, the chicken, because it's covered in the country gravy, stayed on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
But all the sides went off.
Right.
And the guy was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me go get you some other stuff." And he left. And DJ was like, "Could have left the chicken. I would have ate that." And then he could rub the sides later, but whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt bad for DJ, though.
But you ate your food, right?
Yeah, I got to eat at Denny's. Yeah.
No, I meant you didn't wait because you don't wait
wait.
for any stragglers. I don't care what anybody says.
There was the pancake balls there for DJ to have if he wanted some of those, you know.
Good. I was worried.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
But your weekend was okay, no problems.
No. And because it's the 500th episode extravaganza, it's the one time that I'm going to talk about this subject. It's hot, Joe.
Okay.
It's too hot, and it's going to be hot for days. So I'm going into an air-conditioned coma, just in case anybody's wondering. I'm done. Too hot. But otherwise, I didn't do anything. I sat around the house, and I watched all the TV I needed to watch for the main show.
Yeah, it was a close call with the TV this week, you know?
What happened? Your cable almost go out or something?
No, it's just with wrestling. Wrestling on Friday, that took up my whole day. Saturday, we had some shit going. Oh, we had a birthday party out in Hill Country for my relatives, my nephew and his wife were in. It was their son, my great nephew's first birthday. April did the cake for it, so we had to go all the way out past like Shikshinny, way past Shikshinny, and we were there from like 11 until like 6.
Oh,
right. It was a long day. We let all the old people there. There was a lot of old people there. We let them have like the tents and the shade, and then us, moderately less old people. We sat outside, but we just tried to chase the shade and stay with it as the sun moved across the sky.
Right.
So then we had to come back home, and I forget what the hell we did after that. But, and then Sunday, we did something early, but like my mind is like fried with this.
It's the heat.
Yeah. But the problem is Sunday was one of those, Sunday I had to do the lawn. And it was cold enough in the morning that I couldn't get into the pool. It's been hot the last 2 days. So, and we've been busy because Monday we had to go to the hospital after work. Everything's okay. We had to go visit someone that's there. And then we were out, so we just went out to eat. And by the time we get home, it's like I got like 5 hours of television I got to watch, right?
Right.
And then today was after work, was wrapping that up. And then April took the kids, my son and his friends, up to Montage Water Park. And they were there from like 11 until 8:30. So it was like, all right, well, tonight's garbage night. So I got to get the cat boxes and all this other shit around the house,
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to go in the pool then. So I have this pool and no one goes in it. It's very frustrating.
I think tonight we could have done a live podcast from the pool.
See, Adam said the same thing. He's like, oh, can't you just figure out a way to like get the thing hooked up in the pool and record from the pool?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no.
I can bring my laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Bring my laptop. Don't plug it in because it's got a battery. So if it falls in, we just have to buy a new laptop, but we won't get electrocuted, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
We'll get it on a little floaty between us. Oh, it'll be awesome. We could book the next 10 podcasts at the pool.
Right, there you go. Yeah, it's around the pool. It's not in the pool. You get pushed into the pool if yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds like bullying.
It is bullying.
Anyway, I really don't do much, Joe. I like to lay low, so.
Good. But if you ever want to come up and hop in the pool, by all means, at least somebody is,
Cannonball coming.
All right.
Now, I have to bring trunks, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking. I didn't know what
now.
I didn't know like what kind of pool you guys are running. I know I've seen some photos in a hot tub with Stan Malibu. So
that was from a very long time ago. That was at DJ's old house.
Yep.
And I think everyone was wearing clothes there. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
So I don't know how you ride, Joe.
Yeah. No, listen. If I could swim in a sweater, I would. Trust me.
But technically, without a shirt, don't you still look like you're wearing a sweater?
That's true. That's true.
So, me, I'm smooth like a baby's bottom.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
If there was ever a spot to end the show on, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. This was episode 500 of Longbox Heroes After Dark. I can't believe it took us 200 plus episodes to figure out to do something with this.
Right.
I think Studebaker, it was Studebaker gone by then.
Probably.
Because I think it was, I know the weekend. It was the weekend of an AIW show when I went out to see him.
And like that weekend. The knowledge on you.
Yeah, no, there was no knowledge. That weekend of the way home, it was just like, yeah, I don't want to edit your podcast anymore. I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I just don't have the time for it. I go, okay. He goes, I'll send you the software I use. I go, can you show me how to use it? He goes, oh, it's real easy.
And that was the last interaction you ever had with him.
No, we had a couple more interactions since, traveling and the pandemic and stuff like that. We text from time to time. I do miss him, but that's all.
I think I still always say he was mad at me because my internet was slow to upload it. Because he used to email me and message me like, where is it? Yeah. Where is it? I'm like, I have like dial-up. Leave me alone. And that kind of ended. And that was when I would drive to Dunkin' Donuts with my phone.
Oh, yeah.
I'd put it on my phone and I'd steal their Wi-Fi and send it to him after the show.
Oh, boy.
So he quit bitching.
Either you told me that and I forgot, or you never told me that.
I told you that. I know I told you that.
So I know you told me that you would go to the Dunkin' Donuts to steal their Wi-Fi to upload the show, but I don't remember you telling me that he would yell at you about it.
I mean, it's not like he yelled it like on the phone, but he would be like, where is it? Did you upload it? And I'm like, it's coming. Like, relax. I want to get editing. And I'm like, okay. I mean, now whether he was yelling at me on the other side, that was the way I was taking it.
Gotcha.
Because it seemed very, very harsh.
Very hostile. Yes.
Very hostile. And then, and one of these days we'll still get the codes off him, but that's a whole nother conversation.
I have it on my phone to remind me to start bugging him like a month in advance.
Right. So.
Yeah.
All right, then.
All right. Hey, go sign up for the Patreon. Maybe you're a Patreon member at the $5 level and you're listening to this before the main show, which is the correct listening order, referencing things that haven't happened yet, or maybe referencing things that will happen. I don't know. That's how these things work. But patreon.com/longboxheroes, go sign up. Nobody's left us since we got over $100, and I forgot to put Dick Tracy back behind the paywall. I'll probably just keep it free forever.
There you go.
There you go. All right, everybody, thank you very much for listening.
You're listening to the soon-to-be-named network, the Lamborghini of podcast networks.